We look at a freshly cut suburban lawn and see order. The stripes are straight, the height is uniform, and from the sidewalk, the grass appears healthy. Drop down to the microscopic level, and that routine weekend chore reveals a violent physical process. A dull piece of heavy steel impacting grass at high speed crushes the internal cell walls and tears the plant fibers apart. A living plant responds to this physical damage based on the quality of the wound. When sliced with a sharp edge, the internal vascular tissue of the grass seals itself off quickly, usually healing within 24 to 48 hours. Mowing is a surgical event inflicted across millions of plants simultaneously. To survive that stress without lasting damage, the grass requires a cleanly honed edge to keep its vascular system intact. This cross-section reveals what happens inside the plant following a jagged cut. Those torn ends create a massive surface area of exposed internal tissue. The plant bleeds moisture through the wounds far faster than a clean slice, sending the grass into hydration stress. Because the wound is so large, the plant dedicates significant energy over several days to repair the damage. During this recovery window, those open, weeping wounds become a high-traffic entry point for invasive pathogens. In humid environments where dew lingers, fungal spores find a perfect home in these shredded tips. Diseases like brown patch and dollar spot easily bypass the plant's natural defenses, establishing infections that spread across the yard. Neglecting the equipment under the mower deck leads to the deterioration of the entire lawn. To stop this before the damage spreads, you have to recognize the 5 hidden signs of a failing blade. The first indicators appear roughly a day after you put the mower back in the garage. Sign number 1 is a brown haze sitting over the lawn. The damaged tissue at the tip of every torn grass blade dies back and turns brown. Even if the stem below is healthy, the collective die-off at the tips makes the property look parched. Sign number 2 is an uneven cut. This diagram illustrates how malfunctioning cutting units leave visible indentations and irregular patterns in the turf. A dull blade lacks the edge to slice through thick patches, so it pushes the dense grass down, allowing it to spring back up after the mower passes. Sign number 3 is excessive grass clumping. A properly functioning blade relies on specific aerodynamics to lift and disperse clippings. When the edges wear down, that airflow is disrupted, causing the cut grass to bunch up and drop into dense piles that can smother the live turf underneath. These visual symptoms confirm the mower has stopped cleanly processing the vegetation. Instead, it is battering and suffocating the turf. The damage isn't limited to the lawn. The machine itself will start communicating that it is struggling. Sign number 4 is heavy engine strain. Forcing a blunt piece of metal through thousands of dense grass stems requires significantly more torque. You will hear the engine bog down and struggle to maintain its RPMs, particularly in thicker growth. This chart shows exactly what that extra effort costs the machine. A mower working against the resistance of dull blades experiences a 22% spike in fuel consumption. The engine burns significantly more gas to deliver an inferior cut. Sign number 5 is physical vibration. If the handles are shaking in your grip more than usual, the blade has likely sustained heavy wear, denting, or structural imbalance from hitting rocks and hidden debris. Running the engine through that constant resistance and intense vibration accelerates wear on the internal spindle bearings. Ignoring these warnings turns a simple maintenance task into a catastrophic mechanical failure for the mower. Restoring the cutting edge begins on the workbench. Before reaching under the mower deck, the spark plug wire must be disconnected to guarantee the engine cannot accidentally fire. Notice in this schematic how a properly maintained cutting unit operates. The sharp leading edge makes clean, tight contact, shearing the grass with precision. Compare that to this worn profile. The leading edges have rounded over from thousands of microscopic impacts, creating a visible gap. Instead of cutting, this geometry traps, pinches, and rips the plant. Fixing this requires removing metal. The blade is ground along the top edge to restore a consistent 30-degree angle. This specific geometry provides enough sharpness to slice the grass while retaining enough mass to survive impacts with small sticks and debris. The grinding continues until a small, wire-like burr of displaced metal forms along the bottom edge. That burr is the physical indicator that you have ground through the damaged steel and reached a brand new cutting edge. You don't want a blade sharp enough to shave with. A fragile razor edge would fold over and chip within the first 5 minutes of mowing. The goal is to engineer a durable impact angle that can withstand the harsh realities of the yard. The final step of this restoration is balancing the blade. Grinding removes steel, and removing more material from one side than the other throws the center of gravity off. Spinning an unbalanced piece of heavy steel at high speeds generates vibrations intense enough to damage the mower's engine mounts. For residential properties, this restoration needs to happen every 20 to 25 operating hours. If you mow for an hour a week, you need to pull and sharpen the blades about halfway through the growing season. A sharp, balanced blade allows a lawn to redirect its energy from wound repair to healthy growth. Mastering this maintenance keeps the landscape resilient and the turf thriving through every season.